right, ladies and gentlemen, Grand Rising. So you can see they dropped your 837. As you can see, I triple dollar signed it. I told you it would manifest between 1211 and 1219. Straight. Ladies and gentlemen, 2391. Ladies and gentlemen, only 8 hours. And here it is in writing to win what you need to focus on. I told you, I promise the first 2 big money patterns will manifest 1213. Same day, 8 hours. Again, I can't make it up. Ladies and gentlemen, 3190, number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. You can see it for yourself. I said you would do well if you invest from 1212 to 1220. Ladies and gentlemen, 278. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I triple dollar signed it. I said you would see it by the deadline date, but nobody's listening. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 037. Ladies and gentlemen, I guaranteed specifically the number 3. How do you get the number 3? To win. Ladies and gentlemen, I put it in writing what you need to focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is again, guaranteed. Over and over and over again, I am providing the winning big money patterns straight and guaranteeing it. Ladies and gentlemen, over and 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 over. You can see it for yourself. I meet my deadline on my predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, you got that 930. Ladies and gentlemen, only 10 motherfucking hours. 930. Straight! Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. You can see it for yourself. I told you to invest in it between the dates 12/8 and 12/16. Ladies and gentlemen, 109. Ladies and gentlemen, I promised to manifest that big money pattern. You can see it for yourself between the dates 12/12 and 12/20. Ladies and gentlemen, 6597. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar sign my big money pattern to manifest. 12/12 to 12/20. Is anybody picking up on the pattern? 12/12. The next day you get paid. What the fuck? Come on now. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is again. 0670. Boom, boom, boom. Number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. By the deadline date. You cannot lose if you are investing. Ladies and gentlemen, 221. Ladies and gentlemen, at 221 will be making its rounds. You will see it in Ohio, Michigan, Florida. You're going to see it in Texas, Tennessee. You're going to see it repeat and continue to keep traveling. You see it for yourself right there. Promised. the very last motherfucking big money pattern you see. I told you, I don't practice this, but in most cases, I can make it happen. I made it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Big Money Wes. You got 509. Ladies and gentlemen, I guaranteed to manifest between the dates 12/8 and 12/16, specifically the number 3 big money pattern. To win, focus on my top 5 3 digits. They will manifest 12/8 to 12/16, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, 3665. Ladies and gentlemen, boom, boom, boom. You can see it. Only 12 motherfucking hours. The big money pattern did not lie. Energy, frequency, and vibration is doing it every single time. Y'all see it for yourself. I said between the dates 12/13, same motherfucking day, to 12/21. But y'all not listening to me though. Ladies and gentlemen, 5, 4, 6, 9. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise my very last motherfucking big money pattern you see, I will make it manifest first. And I don't practice this shit, but ladies and gentlemen, I tell you that within the next 24 to 48 hours, in most cases, I can make it happen. Yes, I can. And I did. You see it for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, you got the 418. Ladies and gentlemen, promised 418. Triple dollar signed it. Said you would see it between the dates 12/10 and 12/18. Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, 697. Boom, boom, boom. Number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. You see it for yourself. I said if you invested in that big money pattern between the dates 12/10 and 12/19, you would do well. Ladies and gentlemen, 0472. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar signed it. I gave it to you to win. Focus on my top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I told you, you would see it between the dates 12/8 and 12/16. Every now and then, I will show off. You can see it for yourself. Boom, boom, boom. Said you would see it between the dates 12/9 and 12/17. Guaranteed the number 3 big money pattern. Ladies and gentlemen, 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I guaranteed that I could make it happen, and I put it in writing. I told you, you would do well if you focus on the top 5 4 digits, and I told you the number 3. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, every now and then I will show off. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is right there. Over and over and over again. Big money patterns do not lie. Ladies and gentlemen, over and over and over again. I'm doing this while meditating. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 208. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. Over and over and over again. 12/12 to 12/20. Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you got there? 114. only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. Straight. So look at this. 1211 to 1220. Ladies and gentlemen, 6108. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I promised to win. You focus on my top 5, which I promise the first 2. 1, 2, boom, boom, boom. Told you would see it. 1213, same motherfucking day. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is again. 8937, boom, boom, boom. What do you gotta do to win? Ladies and gentlemen, focus on the top 5. But ladies and gentlemen, I promise the first 2. You can see it for yourself. 1212, 1220, North Carolina. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, 730. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. There it is. 1213, same motherfucking day. 722, boom, boom, boom. Triple dollar sign, the very last number you see. I told you, in most cases, I can make it happen. I made it manifest first. Straight. Same day. Ladies and gentlemen, 3471. Boom, boom, boom. Black sheep, black sheep. 127 to 1214. Ladies and gentlemen, 6430. Boom, boom, boom. Triple dollar sign, the very last number you see to manifest first. I told you I don't practice this shit, but in most cases, I can make it happen. I made it happen. You can see it for yourself. 12-8 to 12-15. Triple dollar signed it as proof. Ladies and gentlemen, 7069. Number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. Boom, boom, boom. Told you would see it between 12-9 and 12-17. Over and over and over again. I make this look relatively easy. You can see it for yourself. 3520. Number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. They can't get away. Why? I can attract whatever I want. So can you. But you have to unlearn what you have learned. That's the key. Unlearn what you have learned. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along, you got your 416. Number 1 motherfucking big money pattern. I see too many numbers, but you don't see the number 1 motherfucking number. You don't see the only number on fire. I'm giving you the key. So, once you get that key and you understand that this is for investment purposes only, that's when this will work. Congratulations, keep it coming. I'm going to see everybody at the winner's table no matter what. If you understand, I have a prerequisite to join my VIP. By all means, go to dynamicpredictions.onrender.com. Subscribe to a package. I will reciprocate that love and gift you 1 free week of my promises and guarantees that you will manifest right along with me. But you have to know the prerequisite. You have to know that you have to invest. Now, some people can get away with playing one drawing. As you can see, I can do it in 8 hours. I can do it in 16 hours. I can do it in 1 day. I can do it in 2 days. I can do it in 3 days. I show it to you in writing every single day. This is for investment purposes only. We do not gamble here. I do not gamble. I do not promote gambling, and I am not an advocate of gambling. But I do know a little something about numerology. I do know a little something about master manifestation. I do know a little something about the laws of statistics, the laws of probability, the laws of randomness. You put all that shit together, and guess what? You can win every single motherfucking day with me because I can see the future. I prove it every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take you back a year ago today. And this is still relevant. This is still relevant as fuck. All the way down to the 5 digits at the bottom. Screenshot it. You will see. These all the way up until the 21st. Watch out for 1083. Watch out for 9933. Watch out for 9898. Watch out for 7080. Watch out for 7890. Watch out for 8809. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, boom, boom. There's that 3219. They dropped it yesterday, but we was already on it. So again, watch out for 2109. Watch out for 0313. Watch out for 6168. Watch out for 1123. Seven 7810. 1137, 2370, 7410, 1128, 2978, 2968. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 85967, 66371, 33687, 90961, 91961, 18829 23778. I will see everyone at the winner's table, no matter what. Abundant prosperity in health and in wealth to all who follow me and believe in the hard work that you see me putting in. Seven 1917 7102 0806 triple nines 1112 8111 7115 5120. Watch out for 2385. Watch out for 3699, 3671, 3681, 9971. 5 digits at the bottom of the page. Watch out for 8189, 7181. So, how many people know that in reality, I only truly provide 7 to 21 numbers? 7 being the number 1, 14 being the top 2, or the number 1 and fire. And then the 21, my 21 best will be from my 7 catalyst states, my number 1, my number 2, and my fire. As simple as that. You invest, the rest is history. The rest is financial gain. The rest is residual income. The rest is you don't no longer have to punch a time clock. I prove it to you every single motherfucking day that I'm not playing. I am not the one to play with. So, I'm going to see everybody at the winner's table, right? Because all I did was reveal to you what you would see over the next 3 hours to the next 3 drawings to the next 3 days. And I prove it every single day without fail, because I cannot fail, I will not fail, and that's just not something that we do over here. So if I'm not going to fail, that means that you're not going to fail. Let's get that straight. If I'm not going to fail, that means you're not going to fail. The only way that you fail is by not believing, and then by not following winning instructions. Abundant prosperity to you all. I'm going to see you all at the winner's table, no matter what.